Welcome back, everybody, to Dr. Sellers Educate. We're happy that you're back as you continue on your journey towards achieving CNE or renewing your CNE or CNE-CL. We have launched our new program that supports you on that journey towards renewal as well, okay? And you will find that information right here in the description. If this is the first time that you are tuning into our channel, we are so happy that you have found us, and we love hearing from our nurse educator colleagues. So go ahead and send us an email, info@drsellerseducate.com, to let us know a little bit about you and to introduce yourself. If you are returning, we're happy that you're back as we continue to focus on learning theory, the who, the what, and the how. We want to focus on learning theories to help us become even better nurse educators. This allows us to take a look at what the evidence says about specific learning theories that really underpin the teaching strategies that we're using in our classroom every day. When we're better able to understand the concepts associated with these learning theories and our teaching strategies, we're better equipped to show up in a way that's going to create a rich learning experience for our students, okay? And we know that's what it's all about. We ultimately want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support the learning process with our students. If you're listening to us on our podcast, do know that these resources are available to you, including a specific study worksheet for every snapshot. We highly encourage you all to print that out. Okay, so if you haven't done that, you want to pause this episode and come back with a printed out snapshot worksheet. Now, this worksheet is going to help you do two things. First, it's going to help you stay focused on the content that we are discussing during our snapshots, okay? We have a new episode that is published right here every single week. And then number two, it's going to help you develop a clear study plan towards success, whether that is the journey towards certification or renewal. Both of these process steps require that we have activities and content that we have reviewed to help close knowledge gaps or to solidify our continued commitment towards excellence as a certified nurse educator. Malcolm Knowles and adult learning theory are the concepts and the theory that we're taking a look in this snapshot: the who, the what, and the how. Again, each episode as part of this series is going to be aligned with the learning theory and some specific behaviors and expectations associated with it. So let's take a look at our thought-provoking question for this snapshot. Adult learners are motivated by sharing and utilizing experiences to solve problems. The nurse educator is developing a lesson plan to increase engagement in the classroom. What statement by the educator would cause concern regarding this theory? All right, so we have four choices. A is adult learners are content-centered. B, learning plans should be collaborative. C, course materials should be sequenced. Or D, reflective activities will be incorporated. You can pause the episode if you're watching this as a recording, and then come back when you're ready to take a look at the correct answer. All right, so let's take a look at this testimonial before we jump into our content. So we have Brandy that shared this testimonial on our business site. She shares, I passed the CNE exam today. Dr. Sellers Educate is exactly what I needed to learn the content and provide the confidence to pass the CNE. After failing the first time, I inquired about study resources, and Dr. Sellers was recommended to me. I utilized Dr. Sellers Educate self-paced study resource, workbook, and a 7-week plan. In addition, I listened to many of her YouTube videos, which explained the content and gave me an opportunity to practice questions. I feel blessed to have been supported on my journey. She was amazing. Thank you, Brandy. We really appreciate hearing from you all. This is our why. This is the mission of Dr. Sellers Educate, to support every single nurse educator to achieve excellence and to be successful on the CNE exam. And now our second mission is to support nurse educators to maintain their certification within LN. Listen, we know that it is a multifaceted process, but just like achieving our CNE, we will also be able to maintain our certification with a little bit of guidance and some additional clarification regarding those requirements. We do have that webinar now available as a self-paced option. So feel free to go over to our website and check that out. And as always, reach out if you have questions about any of the content. So what are we talking about? What do we mean when we say adult learning theory and Malcolm Knowles? How is it mapped back and aligned to specific competencies? Well, specifically looking at the content, it is aligned with learning theory, facilitate learning, and facilitating learner development and socialization. These are all really important responsibilities that we have as nurse educators in the classroom. When we look at CNE and CNE novice, this is aligned with competency 2, as well as 1, and then also with CNE CL, it's aligned with competency 5, okay? So again, if you are taking a look at your snapshot worksheet, you're gonna make sure you're writing down content, and any concepts that seem a little gray or muddy for you, you just wanna make an asterisk, highlight, circle, whatever works for you. And then you want to take a look at the resources that we're going to talk about as we look at our practice question or our thought-provoking question answer. That's going to help you provide or have some primary resource content to take a look at so that you will be grounded in the evidence. Okay, so we love you all showing up here every week for our snapshots, but we want you to walk away with content to look at, that primary source content, to help ensure you are breaking down the content in a way that you're going to be able to apply it. Because remember, the goal is that we become excellent nurse educators, and that's a lifelong commitment, right? We are committed to Knowles adult learning theory, specifically looking at self-reflection and the strategies that we're using to get better every single day. That commitment to lifelong learning, lifelong development is a key step in our process and on our journey as a nurse educator achieving excellence. So the how, let's break that down a little bit more. What are some of these underpinnings or concepts that we're talking about? First is that adult learners are self-directed and that we learn from our experiences. We are motivated because we are focused on solving problems. We're very problem-centered as we live as we take our lived experiences, learn from those, grasp concepts and those first account experiences to adapt or to make decisions about future decisions that we need to make. As faculty, we serve as a coach. We are guiding, we are facilitating for the learning to happen with our adult population. We serve also, when we think about the adult learning theory, the learners themselves, they serve as a resource for others to learn, right? So this is a situation where students are learning from each other. They enjoy working in groups. This is associated with Knowles adult learning theory. All right, so now let's take a look at the best answer for our practice question. It is A. So if you chose A, because again, the question is about which statement would cause concern regarding this theory, right? So adult learners are not content-centered. We know they are problem-centered. When we focus as educators and nursing faculty, especially on specific content that we've got to make sure our students understand, right? Sterile technique is one that comes to mind. We have to make sure that students understand those steps in the process. We also need to provide context. So what happens when nursing students or nurses don't follow sterile technique? Well, we know patients develop infections, patients can become septic, and it can become a fatal situation, right? Over just by the simple fact of sterile technique processes not being followed. So we have to talk about the problem, right? The problem is if we don't follow sterile technique, then we are compromising patient safety because we could possibly introduce infectious agents that could lead to complications, increased length of stay, and ultimately a fatality, right? An unnecessary, unexpected death. And adults are also motivated to learn when content is relevant and important. This is why when we think about the adult learners in our classroom, they are very sensitive and very vocal about busy work, right? So we want to make sure that we're aligning the content and the assignments to the learning objectives that we have identified that our students are going to learn based on the didactic learning experience, the SIM or the lab experience, or the clinical experience. The resource for you that you're going to take a look at related to this thought-provoking question is going to be Billings and Halstead, pages 256 and 257. You're going to see a great description related to adult learning theory, some assumptions associated with ALT or adult learning theory, and some specific teaching strategies that are most aligned with this theory. Okay, so this is going to conclude our snapshot. We hope that this has been informative for you all. As always, reach out to us if you have any questions. And until next time, thank you for tuning in. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.